Boy, let me tell you, winter just does not want to let go, does it? Here we are, March 13th, Monday. I'm here right beside the whiskey plant, taking a quick peek at the Detroit River. And as you can see, she is still poached. Cucka brown on the Canadian side. She's starting to really clean up on the US side. Absolute fishable water. There's a more defined mud line coming down the center here. Reports over the weekend, people catching fish. Yes, not crazy amounts, but some nice quality fish being caught on the US side. That's Monday. I'll tell you one thing, if these north winds persist, the Canadian shoreline on Lake St. Clair, the Detroit River is never going to clear out. But one good thing about the Detroit River is simple. You can always find, generally, you can pretty much almost always find some fishable waters. As you can see, the water is still poached on our side. Over there, that's where the party's at. What I want to point out to you is just over here on the Dawson Maritime Museum over here on Belle Isle, there is actually a webcam up on the roof there. And it's actually pretty cool. It does give a pretty good indication of what the river looks like from the south shore of Belle Isle to the shoreline of Windsor here. And it pans from left to right and right to left. Check this out. I'm sure there are more webcams available between the Detroit and Windsor skyline, but this is the one that I go to the most, simply because I reside up on the upper portion of the river. Earlier this morning, I received an aerial photograph in my inbox of a plane that was crossing over the Detroit River right about where the Gordie Howe Bridge is, and you could definitely see how defined that mud line is going straight down the middle of the river. Check this out, it's pretty cool. Man, she's getting nasty on the D. I'll tell you one thing, those zebra mussels are working really hard to try and get this lake cleaned up. However, the Canadian shoreline is still plagued, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any cleaner anytime soon. But the winds have now changed. We've gone to a south wind, southwest, and a west for the next 4 or 5 days. However, it's going to get really windy. Today, we're expecting like 60 knots out here. The American side is still doing very good. It's cleaner over there. I heard on the other side of Fighting Island over here, the water is Mediterranean blue. So that's where the fish are being caught. It's a little too dirty here. I don't mind stained water, but this is, zero visibility here on the Canadian shoreline. But one thing I wanted to let you guys know is there's a podcast show, the Grateful Anglers Video Podcast Show, made up of Big John Milson and John Bondi. Well, the wind, son of a beach. I absolutely love it because all the topics deal with local anglers, local baits, local conditions, our local area. Detroit River, Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie. It's fantastic. If you haven't heard about it, now you have. You got to check this out. They've got a huge contest going on right now for the whole month of March. I haven't been to the new store. I'm going to stop in there with a bunch of goodies to add to this contest. It is something great that they're doing, and I absolutely love it. Now, if these conditions keep you off the river this weekend, you might as well stop by FCI. Fishing Complete in Canton, Michigan has an open house, and you're invited between 11 and 5 p.m. I will be there, and I will personally walk you through the warehouse, and you can check out the new pintail plastic from Case. Now, if you don't already know, you should be aware that there is a no fishing zone right out front of the footings on the new Gordie Howe Bridge. I'm not sure if it applies to the US side, but I know it does apply to the Canadian side. It's 150 feet out from shore. We also need to be aware that with the spring-like weather here, the air temperature and the temperature from the Great Lakes produces some nasty fog, right? Be aware of other boats, especially on the Detroit River, when you've got 200, 300 boats zipping from spot to spot. The fog can get very thick, and that could pose a very dangerous hazard. Now, as my buddy John would say,
cheers, lovies, all be positive. Big John's out.